and they wonder why black women are resting. We took our ass to the polls. Cha-cha slide, 1-2 step, lines. We took our ass to the polls. But before we did, we also took our ass to the public. Read out that damn book called Project 2025. Waved the thickness of it at the DNC. Warned y'all repeatedly about the dangers of voting for this man. But you listen to bots and trolls, people literally created with zeros and ones, people who were paid to say things of that nature with actual dark money, people who were a part of a vodka campaign, a campaign that's literally still on the government website, by the way. Now, you've probably never seen this document, but it exists right there at that link. I hate pointing to it because that might tell somebody to do something about it, but you know, I got the screenshots, right? So this was the thing. What does this document say? Let's take a look. Oh, by the way, this document was originally in Russian. How about that? Let me big it up for you. How about that? How about that? And by the way, they know that Americans are so culpable that all you have to do is name something a good little name, and it's something they'll go for, such as this being called the good old USA. Because in America, if it sounds good, it must be, especially if it has the words like patriotism and Americanism and all those other little fun things. Heritage, you know, whistles. So what was the plan? Well, the plan was actually quite simple. It was to make sure that political party B, did not get to stay in office. So, do I have it? Hold on. While they're still in power. Exactly. All right. So, political party A, you know who that is. In case you didn't know, all these black parts are the redacted parts. So, let's get into this. So, obviously, their goal and objective was to help the elephants beat the donkeys. That's the thing. So, how do they plan to do it? Well, they plan to do it by tanking candidate B for Biden, by the way, by tanking his ratings down to a minimal level of 29. Now, when I got onto this app during the pandemic, and that was fairly soon after the 2020 because I was here to learn more about ADHD before I got my own diagnosis. I noticed there were so many influencers and videos from young people in their 20s and such who were like really going hard on Biden. I'm like, how are you going hard on him? He just got in here. And then I realized, oh, there's a targeted campaign using the young people of the TikTok. Little did I know how much it would work. But they also wanted us to really stop supporting the Yuki people because obviously that's who they were trying to take over. So who did they target? This is the interesting part. All those I will vote targeted. Now here's the thing. This is all based on candidate B for Biden. This was before there was a Kamala. Okay? And that threw this whole thing off. That's why there was a delayed response in the attack for her. But anyway, so here you go. And what's really interesting is like how they were trying to swing the Jewish people against this man who was saying he was for that. He was for the Zions. Okay? But how are they going to do it? So they were going after that. They were going after the swing states. So you would see all, like, y'all, I remember when I lived in Georgia and I was listening to the radio and this advertisement came on. Now, this was back in, I want to say this was before the 22s. And so I was hearing, they're trying to change your kids. They're trying to change old kids. Trans is a, and I was just like, does this work on people? And the sad part is it does, because nobody heard how stupid that, listen. But here's the other interesting part. You see that last line? The community of gamers. Now, I have long maintained, and I think there's actually research on this. They're doing emergency broadcasts. That the hotspots of targeting for supremacy are prisons, pulpits, and by pulpits, obviously, you know what I mean. God, that's annoying. Okay, prisons, pulpits, the military, gaming sites, and frat houses. Any place where you can see a large congregation of the same type of people. And so the indoctrination of rage baiting, testosterone unstable people, because that's the 20s usually, teens and 20s. It just happens during that time, and in these places and spaces where the guys are feeling a sense of camaraderie with the people who look like them. So again, gaming spots, prisons, church, gaming space. Y'all heard the 5. I'm not. My brain's like. Okay. So anyway, and the vodka people knew that. Oh my God. And Reddit. Reddit is such a white place as well. Obviously 4chan. So anywhere that they can really find a congregation of, I hate to call them right wing, because right just has a subliminal message of being correct, but it's not. All right. So next slide. So then they also chose Meta, because again, Meta is a cesspool. So they chose Meta and Google, obviously, bend the knee Google people, obviously shitter, and like I said, Reddit. So in other words, resources free from democratic censorship, resources free from having to care about the effects of their ideologies. Those were the targets. So the toolkit, which is really interesting. I know we keep saying AI, but there's also AR. So AR is augmented reality, which is literally what that video was that we saw of the con. That's what it was, the con. I'm not even gonna call y'all conservatives anymore. Y'all are just cons. You're gonna call liberals libs. Conservatives are cons. So the cons use augmented reality. Have been using the augmented reality, but it's a result of the vodka people. So the vodka people were aimed at doing viral content such as music, humor, beautiful girls, because men are so easy. Men are so easy, etc. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with hunting and patriotism, something like that. They also, this is the branding part of it, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, because they were creating a YouTube channel that's supposed to be Go T-Rumpa Go. So I will tell you that if you see anything like that, that is specifically